Hello and welcome back to a Madman Big Finish review, a video series where I review some of the latest Big Finish releases. For this one, I am joined with, as always, Professor Pixel, one voice in my head. You should get that checked out. I don't. That's not.
I have one in and one out. Sometimes the one inside gets out.
But we are continuing with our next edition, our latest release in Big Finish's Once and Future. Two's Company, 6 takes charge. After briefly appearing in some stories and being a different character entirely in another.
Yeah, the second one.
Yes, so we now follow 6 as he is now taking charge in the Degeneration. He's reunited with 4th Doctor companion Harry and future companions Jackie Tyler and Lady Christina D'Souza.
One is technically a companion. Jackie is not a companion. She's not really a companion.
She should have been.
Lady Christina was a companion for an
She was a one-off companion.
Jackie
should have been a companion.
Yes.
Right?
More than Mickey.
She would have killed a Dalek. Taken a shoe off and just throw it at it. Talked it to death, yeah. But while all this is going on, Harry is being duped by a Time Lord renegade that he believes is the Doctor. So, as usual, we're going to go into spoilers with this release. So, if you haven't listened to it already, go listen to it, or just read the TARDIS wiki page on it. It's probably up by now.
No, it's not.
Nobody
updates that.
They're oddly up to date.
They
fall asleep on other stuff, but like the more important things, they're like, oh yeah, we'll put something in there.
Well, is anything really important when radiation's going to take away all your memories?
Yeah, sure. So, Two's Company, where what? How many stories is there in Once and Future again? I think we're
8.
There's 8, so we're at the halfway point.
There might be more than 8.
Let me double check. We've had 4, 5, 6, 7. No, there's 8.
Okay.
So we're halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer.
Take my hand. We'll make it. I swear.
We'll make it, I swear. Oh.
Because you already paid for it all.
Yeah, pretty much. I've already paid for it all.
So, here's the thing. I really, really love the story. I do.
So did I. I was very kind of ready to just not, because it is typical Big Finish, close my eyes, dartboard of like selection of characters.
But it's so good.
The thing is, much like with Sarah Jane in Past Lives, I don't think Harry needed to be in this.
No.
He is the weakest part of this story. He did not need to be in here.
So here's the thing. I wish I hadn't listened to the interviews, but I did. I didn't listen to all of them.
I haven't listened to them yet.
Yeah. So the thing is, the writer, and she did a great job. She did a really great job. The way she described it, though, is that... So I had... Lady Christina and Jackie Tyler, and I had their dynamic, and I thought, how can I make this work? Well, they come from opposite backgrounds, kind of, so I can work with that. And then Harry, he had to fit him in. And what's a good way of doing that? Well, let's go ahead and bring a renegade Time Lord that we've seen. Maybe this is more of an origin. So this was more than just, it sounds like they put things on a dartboard. They literally put things on a dartboard. At least from what the writer's saying, they had a pool of characters that signed on for the project, and the writers had to pick. This is what I have. Yeah, literally. But somehow, in this madness of a story that throws characters with really no connection at all, something really good comes out. I agree Harry didn't need to be in it. I liked Harry in it, though. The one that I feel that actually has been done the most disservice is Lady Christina, because she's kind of just there. She hasn't met the Doctor yet.
Yeah.
They imply what River Song is the reason that Jackie.
Yeah. So yeah, the melody is the one that essentially brings the entire plot together. Which
and yet she's not here.
She's not here. I'm guessing she's going to be in one of the future releases. I'm pretty sure Alex Kingston.
She's on the cast list.
Yeah. So she's going to be in one of the future ones.
So does that mean how much did these people work together? Because that implies that should be addressed in a future release. But will it? We don't know.
You say how much did people work together on this, and it's very evident that not a lot of them did, considering that the plot has gone nowhere until kind of now.
But even now, because the thing is, there's this element that's kind of toxic to Time Lords that they're working with to create a portal, so that way the two, which is the villain of this story,
which everyone figured out, it's not even a mystery. Before this came out, everyone's like, "Oh, it's the two." And then even in the story, in the first 4 minutes, it's like, "Oh yeah, it's the two."
But yeah, he makes a portal to go back to plant a bomb in the original TARDIS. That's okay. But the story itself is really fun. It's not taking itself too seriously, but it manages to have this is adding to Time Lord lore, where this is toxic to us, and there's another one though that has degenerative properties, and that's what is the lead in to the next one.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this was a fun story.
So much fun.
It's so much fun. Jackie and Lady Christina are so good together, even though Lady Christina does a kind of have a disservice to her because she's somewhat the weakest one. She hasn't met the Doctor yet. But her dynamic with Jackie, I love that. I think it was so much fun. Harry just felt like he really didn't need to be there. So you could have honestly just worked around Harry. Similar to, like I said, with Sarah Jane in Past Lives. With Sarah Jane, you could have just swapped her with Osgood and it wouldn't really change the story that much.
But the thing was, having Sarah Jane in that one meant something to the Fourth Doctor, that they could go ahead and the tie in for an emotional twinge. But Harry is just randomly here.
Yeah, Harry's just randomly here.
You're the Third Doctor. Oh no, you're the Sixth Doctor. Okay. Because Tim Treloar actually gets a little bit more time in this one, which I found interesting. Okay.
And it took until this one to actually address, because the big problem with Past Lives is if Sarah met technically the Fourth Doctor again after he left her, then what was the whole you never came back for me?
Well, we learn
that apparently degeneration radiation affects memories.
Yeah, it's going to wipe it from all the humans' minds. Every human you see.
Yes, every human we've seen, past companions, etc., they all just lose their memories. Okay.
But what about Strax? Strax has a brain of steel. Fine Sontaran steel. Nothing can penetrate this trap. Woman.
But yeah, this story, it's fun. It at least is somewhat progressing the degeneration plot, but it's still not enough.
It's not.
At least the Sixth Doctor is, at least with this one, the Doctor was actually actively looking for a possible cause. Unlike with Genius of War, which was that's a great story, but it had nothing to do with the degeneration.
Yeah, it was literally just, let's splice this in so we can have Sylvester McCoy do a Time War episode.
Yes. So yeah, again, bare minimum for the degeneration plot. The two in it as the antagonist I liked. I'm a big fan of the collective, as the fans have called them, like the 11, 8.
They call it in the credits. It's he's listed as the Renegade.
The Renegade. That's just they're just called a renegade time.
I know.
They don't have it. But a lot of people have just accepted that they're just called the collective, which makes more sense. But
Yeah.
I like that we're seeing more of them, other incarnations, because it's such a great idea of just a Time Lord suffering from like still having past lives in their head. It's such a great idea, but it's always just let's just focus on 11 because he's the most popular, and rightly so. He's a great character. But then every now and again, it's like, okay, we'll have the 9 appear sometimes. 12 will be in the 8th Doctor Time Wars series, and then
this
8 was in Doom Coalition for a bit, just to set up the 9.
And
but this one with the 2 is, I feel like, is the most interesting because he's the first one to suffer from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
what does that imply for? I mean, when he was the one, because the voice
was just a normal time
him, but the voice inside of him is the crazy one, the one who's get me out, get him. He's the Gollum to his Smeagol because he's actually slow. Considered, I thank you for this, Doctor. At least I do, because the voice inside of him is mad.
Well, from previous releases, the 2 is the charmer. That's how he's supposed to come off as. He's the charming one.
Mm-hmm.
More kind of like debonair one. While the 1 is supposed to be like the old archivist who decided to go rogue because he was inspired by the Doctor's adventures of like going rogue.
But does he always sound like a madman? Does he always sound like this?
Now the thing is, this is something that's addressed in Ravenous when 9 and 11 meet. That when their versions, both of their versions of the 4 argue with each other, and they find it weird that they're supposed to be the same person, but they sound different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's 9 theorizes that their past selves get filtered through their current incarnation. So
that's a good cover.
3 will always sound like someone having a temper tantrum. 2 will always sound like a charmer, but might not be like the same kind of personality. Like the inflections will kind of be the same, except for 9. 9 as he is sounds different from 11's 9. 11's 9 is like, oh my, like who's that handsome devil? While 9 is like kind of like, oh, have I been a bad boy? Oh, LOL. He's like someone who tries to sound smart. He's kind of like almost hyperactive, kind of smart. And
my only
but
problem...
same kind of like similar with 11's version of 6 is like, I'm gonna kill everyone, let me out. While like 8's version of 6 is just like, when is it my turn again? There's like slight inflection differences. They're supposed to be their past selves, but it's like I said, they theorize it's because the current personality filters them. It might not actually literally be their past selves. It just could be a memory of them that just lives on.
So it's more like just multiple personality disorder rather than...
Kind of, yeah.
It's less a problem with regeneration. It's more of you need serious therapy.
Yeah, pretty much. Kind of, yeah. But I really liked the 2 in this. So exploring more of the collective, like, props to them, thank God. I feel like it's kind of forgotten a lot of the times. Like one of their most interesting ideas is of a Time Lord villain. You're just someone that is essentially schizophrenic, has multiple personality disorder.
Didn't the 9 just come out like last year? At the beginning of it?
Yeah, that was a Fourth Doctor one, but I can't remember when that was recorded. That could have been recorded years earlier.
That's fair.
And that's an incarnation we already met.
The only problem I've ever had with trying to get into it is that I have to get to Doom Coalition. And I can't get to Doom Coalition because I have so much more of an 8 catalog that I should be listening to.
You can honestly skip Dark Eyes.
I know. I want to skip Dark Eyes.
Of the 4 box set series, Doom Coalition is the best.
Yeah. Doesn't it start out with? Maybe I was trying to listen to that. Doesn't it start out with Winston Churchill?
No, that's Ravenous. That's the box set after. That's the box set series after.
So I guess that was my problem. I should have listened
Yeah.
to Doom Coalition. So yeah, but I think that the two is very interesting. Their whole thing, that's very interesting. But I really, I love 6. So more Colin Baker's always great. And actually getting to hear him as a doctor was great because before he was the curator, which is nice. But this is the doctor. I need the doctor. And yeah, I'm glad to hear him. I am intrigued with where we go from here because we don't have a confirmation still of which doctor got shot with a gun. No matter what the time war implications. But we did learn something with this one. The clothes regenerate or degenerate with him.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty obvious.
Well, but they never addressed it before. They didn't say, "Oh, look at my scarf" when the 4th Doctor appeared. This is the first time it's actually been addressed. Hey, this was a coat.
Yeah, I guess.
And with the whole hubbub about Tennant as 14 and his clothes regenerating, and people would be like, "No, let him wear Charlie's outfit."
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Two's Company, how would you rate it? Because again, I'm going to be split rating it as just a story by itself, and then as part of Once and Future.
The story by itself, I could honestly listen to it again. I had to re-listen to a part of it again because I was listening to it as I went to bed, and I fell asleep in the middle. And that was just because I'm tired. I'm exhausted from work, and I'm very tired. But I got to listen to a part of it again, finished it all the way through, and I was like, I could listen to it like multiple times. So I think it's 8.5 as a story on its own. As Once and Future, as a collective story, it's going to go down to a... What did we say last time? Last one was like 6 or 5.
Yeah, because it was the
so
worst.
This,
it had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, this one has something to do with it again. I honestly think it might be a 7. It might be one of the best chapters at the end of this, once we have the full picture.
All right.
It actually has something to do with the topic of degeneration, because the 2 is also a part of that. So
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Rather than the general just saying, "Oh, yes, we know you're having a problem. We're not helping you. Bye.
We're too busy." For me, as a story by itself, I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's a fun story, with some unnecessary characters in it. As a Once and Future story, probably 7. I'd say 7. It's definitely much better than A Genius for War, even though A Genius for War is a much better story by itself. But in terms of Once and Future, it'd probably be tied for second place or third.
How is that possible?
Uh,
Because third is Genius for War. It's better than Genius
I'm
for
talking no. It as Once and Future, like the story of Once and Future, I'd say Genius for War would be at the bottom because it has nothing. It has nothing to do with it. It's the worst as a Once and Future story, or for the degeneration story. Then I'd say probably I'd put this maybe third because it's a fun story. It's at least somewhat connected to the plot.
It's more connected to the plot than the artist.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I'd put Artist as third.
Yeah.
Because it's more of him being motivated to be there because he's told it could help with him, but it doesn't come around full circle.
And even then, he wasn't really looking for Jenny. He just conveniently runs into her along the way.
No, he's told that he has a daughter that could, like...
In the first one.
In the first one, yes.
But in the second one,
in the second one,
that.
In
It's
the second
like,
one,
oh,
yeah,
you're
like,
here.
Him needing Jenny doesn't really come into fruition. So yeah, I'd put that third. Two's Company I'd put second. Past Lives I'd put first because it's the kicker. It's the one that starts it all. So yeah,
Even then, I feel like this has a little more meat on the bones, story-wise.
Yeah, story-wise, this definitely has a bit more meat on the bones.
Then yeah,
but in Once and Future as a whole, I'd put Past Lives first because it
actually kicks off the story.
It has a big the story.
Yeah,
it seems like we're going to continue it, but then it doesn't really for some time.
Yeah, so I guess I'm one up over you on the story because you say 7.5, I say 8.5, but we're agreed for Once and Future. It's like a solid 7.
Yeah.
What did we rank the first one? We had a different view of it at that point.
Yeah, because we didn't know that the plot wasn't going to go anywhere.
With the next one, though, hopefully. I mean, this is the time for speculation.
But like, the end of this story makes it sound like he's going somewhere completely different, but then for the next story, he's in Victorian London.
Yes.
So I'm hoping they explain why he deviates, either if it's by choice, which it would be a weird choice for him to make, or an external force forces him.
Well, there's quite an external force there.
There's a very hot external force.
Calm down, Chris. Listen, I know you wanted to interview her, but yeah, no. I mean, I guess it's time for some speculation. 10 is the lead for the next one. It's our first step towards maybe a future incarnation, maybe not, because we still don't know.
It is a future incarnation. It's 10.
We don't know.
It's be Time War
which Doctor got shot at the Time War.
It's either War Doctor or 8 that got shot.
It's a lie.
They haven't been announced yet.
It's a deception. It's actually 14.
No, it's actually the 25th.
In the craziest twist of events, they're getting the actor from Silence in the Library to come in as the 46th
Dr. Moon.
But yeah,
going to say maybe the Merlin Doctor.
I don't know. Because, like I said, the trailer, which came out at the time of this recording yesterday, it pretty much has this bit of audio where it sounds like Strax is saying, "Oh, I haven't seen this face before." He's seen 11 at this point. But he says something about a future incarnation, but it sounds almost spliced in. Like it's not the actual conversation, which could just be cutting a bit.
Yeah.
However, the main villain, from what it sounds like, is Missy, who, for that Doctor, is a future incarnation. But it's...
We won't know
actually, if it was... Which I'm not saying it is. If it was 11 who was in that little splice of time in the Time War, just for a second, in Day of the Doctor, you know their gaps. If it was him, it would be a future incarnation for him.
I really don't think there'd be a gap that much for 11 to be affected.
Anything could be a gap if you try hard enough.
No, shut up. Even with the novelization, there's not a gap.
It's a gap.
Nope.
A little bit of... Yeah.
No. Even with the novelization, it took them days to do it. And every Doctor was there to help.
It took them days to do it?
Yeah, in the novelization, them freezing Gallifrey, it took them days. It looked instant, but actually took them days.
Days? Days sounds like a gap to me. I don't know about
Yes,
you.
but they were all working on saving people while this was happening.
On Gallifrey.
Yes.
On Gallifrey. So
On
it's sounding like
Gallifrey.
even more of a gap. You have opened the
No.
doors wide.
No.
You're saying that there wasn't a gap.
They
but
were
no,
all literally helping on Gallifrey. None of them were diverted for anything. They were all literally helping either the War Council or rescuing people.
Yeah, yeah. However, you know, when you get shot
And you know
randomly,
what kind of is a middle finger to your theory? Jacob Dudman's not in this.
yes, he is.
Is he?
He's in the cast. Big Finish.
There we go. Guest stars announced.
From Big Finish.
Yep.
Okay.
And you know who's not on this list?
Come
Jacob
on,
Dudman.
man.
He's
It
not
can't
there.
be true.
It does say with many more guest stars yet to be announced, but that could just be like the other characters.
I could swear I remember Jacob Dudman being on the list.
Nope.
Like, really could swear it. Like, it's in my...
In the same month, it was announced that he was coming back as the 10th Doctor for the Chronicles.
Ah. Ah. What? Well, you know that there are many more cast members yet to be announced. So, Jacob Dudman, he might, be there. I don't know, man. Oh, man. Yeah, no, I'm not saying. I don't know how I became so convinced that he was in this. Absolutely convinced in this, but it is what it is. I guess I could be wrong, but I'm not convinced yet. Next month, I will have my answer.
If they announce someone the next Doctor for the stories. Because the thing is, who else do we have leading? Because it's for what it seems like, 1, 2, and 3 don't have leading roles.
No, but 9 is.
We still have 8.
9.
We have 8, 9. Yeah, 8 and 9. Then
Yeah,
I
we only
think-
have 4 more, so Coda could be just the full, a combo
Maybe.
leading towards the end.
Who knows?
I just wish we got a little more Christopher Eccleston in the, well, I guess we haven't had a future Twitch yet, which could have been a cool thing. Like, with this story, they could have connected it that getting exposed to the material is further affecting the degeneration to explain maybe it's a future phase, maybe it's a past phase. I'm not convinced yet, because why would they not say it? Why wouldn't they have the lead up with a voice? Because they start out with just 2 random Time Lords. Oh, look, who got shot? Oh, you don't know who this is? This is the Doctor.
I don't know, but the trailer shows it's 8 TARDIS.
The trailer is nothing. The trailer has no information. All they know is basically what Big Finish is hinting at with every trailer.
That's true. But the trailer for Genius
audio.
of War has the Emperor Dalek as a mix between Evil of the Daleks Emperor with the legs of Time War era. Despite the fact that in that era of the Time War, it is pretty much the RTD version of the Emperor.
So yeah.
But who knows? But that is it for our review of Two's Company. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. If you've listened to Two's Company, what were your thoughts? Leave them in the comments below. Or you can DM Pixel and tell him he's wrong about 11 being in it.
I'm not convinced.
Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, check out any of my previous videos, check out the live streams, check out any videos that Pixel may or may not do. Same with Jimmy. Who knows?
Jimmy's currently gone for a month.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll see you all in the next one. Alonzi Geronimo. Haha. What are you going to say now?
Reverse the polarity of the neutron flow?